Hello and welcome to the tutorial on literature reviews. Today we will discuss what a literature review is, what types of lit reviews are out there, and how to research and create your own. Let's first apply a definition to literature review. A literature review is a survey of the published literature on a topic. But what is meant by the term the literature? The literature is comprised of scholarly, peer-reviewed articles that are published in academic journals and provided to you by your library. Monographs or books that focus on research conducted on a single subject, conference proceedings, which are conclusions of research and sometimes scientific experiments that are presented at professional conferences, doctoral or master's dissertations, and finally government-sponsored papers and studies that are sometimes published and made accessible by government agencies. A literature review is heavily comprised of directly quoted or paraphrased concepts from the literature that are called citations. Pretend that these citations are puzzle pieces that comprise your literature review. Sprinkled in with the citations from the literature is your ideas and analyses. In this analogy, you can see that the green pieces are article citations from the literature, and the blue pieces are your analyses. Literature reviews are heavily comprised of citations. In fact, some sections of literature reviews are entirely made up of citations. Let's look at this example text from an actual literature review. You can see, without the redacted passages, this passage reads smoothly without any stops. When we reveal the blacked out portion of the text, you can see the entirety of the passage is actually made up of paraphrased concepts from the literature. There are a few different types of literature reviews, spanning from selective to comprehensive, and from standalone or being a part of a larger work. First, let's look at selective standalone literature review. An example of this is something you might write for an undergraduate course using 5 to 10 research resources. Second is a professional review article. This is still standalone, however the scope of the research is going to be much more comprehensive, sometimes using 50 or more research resources. Third is a doctoral or master's dissertation. Typically, a literature review will introduce the subject of the dissertation and lay down a foundation that updates the reader on the literature. Finally, a literature review can set up a specific study in the same way it can introduce a subject in a dissertation. It sets up a study or experiment. After the literature review is the methodology. This part reveals the scientific process used in the study. The results and discussion follow the methodology. This is where all the conclusions of the study are revealed. Here's an example of a comprehensive review article. The article attempts to update the reader by synthesizing the literature. Here's an example of a literature review setting the platform for an empirical study. Empirical studies are the collection and analysis of primary data based on direct observation or experiences in the field. You can see here that the literature review is at the beginning of this study. It lays out the previous science in this field of research before adding to the science. After the introduction in literature review is the methods or methodology. The methodology is the process that is used for collecting the data in research publications and scientific experiments. After the methodology, the article will end with the conclusions of the study and a discussion about the ramifications of the conclusions. Very often, statistical charts and data will be in the results. Now that you know what a literature review is and how it can be either its own paper or a part of another, you are ready to begin compiling research to create your own lit review. For any questions, please contact a librarian at McGrath Library. Thank you for watching.